From the set of numbers, negative square root 3, 3 and 1 over 7, 0, 10 over 3 and 5.7, continuing on and on, write down an integer. First, let's define what are integers. Now, integers include all whole numbers and negative numbers without fractions and decimals. Examples of integers include negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So these are integers. Now, the only integer inside of this set of numbers is 0. 0 is an integer because 0 is a whole number. Next, we need to write down an irrational number. What are irrational numbers? Well, irrational numbers are real numbers that cannot be expressed as a simple fraction or ratio of two integers. So irrational numbers cannot be expressed as a simple fraction of two integers. So what does that mean? That means that if you see any fractions inside of the set of numbers, any fractions of two integers inside of the set of numbers, that means they automatically are not irrational because irrational numbers cannot be expressed as fractions of two integers. So 10 over 3 automatically not an irrational number. Any fraction that you see inside of the set, they are not irrational numbers. Okay, what else? And their decimal representations. So if we have a decimal, right, in terms of irrational numbers and their decimal representations, so irrational numbers can be decimals, right? And their decimal representations are non-terminating and non-repeating, which means that for irrational numbers, they can be expressed as decimals, but their decimal representations are non-terminating, which means that it continues on and on and on, which means it doesn't stop. And moreover, it's non-repeating. So that means that it doesn't follow a consistent repeating pattern, all right? So if a decimal is irrational, it has to never end, so non-terminating, and it has to be non-repeating. So that means that it doesn't follow a consistent repeating pattern, all right? Okay, so from this set of numbers, which number is irrational? The irrational number here is negative square root 3. And the reason why this is irrational, because if you take negative square root of 3 and you express it in terms of a decimal, you get negative 1.7320508088 and continuing. So it never ends, right? And it doesn't follow a consistent pattern. And so that's why negative square root 3 is an irrational number. And that's the answer to our question.